Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing the Mechanic Resurrection, the Mechanic Resurgence, the Mechanic, I forget, it was some sort of incredibly cliched name. Let me see here. The Mechanic Resurrection. Yeah. Yeah, so this is like a Jason Statham action film, so, yeah. I saw the original movie, not the original movie, like the Jason Statham movie. I didn't see the 1970s one with Jen Michael Vincent and stuff, but do I need to? I mean, really? The thing is, when you hear the title The Mechanic for a movie, it doesn't even sound like a real movie. Like, that sounds like a fake movie you'd see in the background when movie characters go to a movie theater and they can't use actual movie posters, so they have something for The Mechanic with Jason Statham or something. But it's so generic. And I was very disappointed to find out that it isn't about a former mechanic who uses his mechanic skills in order to take down crime bosses or something. Instead, it's mechanic is just a code word for assassin, and he works for the deep web and does assassin jobs and stuff. Ugh, boring. We've seen it. I want to see the mechanic. To take down terrorist cells would be awesome. Well. So yeah, I was going to watch that movie. I got like 15 minutes in, and I decided from those 15 minutes that there was absolutely no reason I should watch this. I already know exactly how the movie's going to go, and yeah. The movie, even as a generic action film, it was pretty lame. I mean, the opening scene made me burst out laughing because he strangles this guy underwater in his pool, right? He's trying to make it look like an accident, and then the guy's body floats up to the surface, and we see one of the guards look down, and he's seeing the guy like laying there motionless. And then, in order to make it so that he seems alive for a little bit, Jason Statham grabs his body from behind and does a Weekend at Bernie's thing and just makes him look like he's swimming still. It was the silliest thing I'd ever seen. And utterly ridiculous, too. I mean, in a pool, you should see when somebody else is in there, but conveniently, his pool is laced with freaking black velvet or something? I don't know, but his water's pitch black for some reason. It's incredibly unrealistic, incredibly silly. Couldn't take that seriously at all. And the thing was, Jason Statham is doing his best Dominic from Video Game Confessions. Like, so I was sitting there, tending bar, and I'm Jason Statham in this movie. And I know that Jason Statham has a Cockney accent. That is true. I've seen how he normally talks, but I don't know how he did it, but he managed to make his own accent sound fake in that movie. It sounds like he's faking a Cockney accent. It's unbelievable. I can't tell you. Like, it would be like if I went on here and I was like, well, har, I'm Glenn Dyer. I am American. You know, it's so odd. And yeah, I pretty much quit after there's some sort of plotline about President Snow has gotta be killed by someone, and there's a contract out on his head or something, and Jason Statham's his friend, so he probably refuses, and the plotline goes on, and he runs into trouble, and ends up killing some dude at the end and walking off into the sunset. Oh god, I've seen this 10,000 times. I don't even need to watch it, man. So, for this movie, I'm hoping it's over-the-top schlocky garbage so I can laugh. That's it. I have no hope for it to be a serious good action film. Let's hope it's completely schlocky, silly stuff. And we'll just have to see it. Well, it had a very good opening scene, a very strong opening scene, right? Apparently at the end of the last movie, Jason Statham's character, like, faked his own death in order to escape the guys who were chasing him or something, and went to live in Rio, like you do. So the beginning of this movie is, of course, you have to start with the getting him out of retirement thing. So basically he's at this restaurant, this lady comes out and she says, "I know who you are, Jason Statham, and I have all this proof that you're alive, and I'll send it to the wrong people if you don't kill these 3 guys." You know, like almost like a video game. Kill these 3 characters in order to find the ending, or something like that. And you know, of course, it's just like, oh god, here we go, just gonna go through the motions. But it actually kind of threw me for a loop for a little bit, and had a really cool moment when Jason Statham just freaking upturns the table on her, preventing her from getting her gun, and it's just like, "You don't fuck with me!" And she just, like, totally murders everyone who's coming after him in this big, ridiculous, over-the-top, and stupid action scene that's just so schlocky, and I loved it so much. He escapes on a freaking hang glider that happens to be going by. He just jumps on top of the hang glider. It's so ridiculous. If the whole movie had been like that, I would be gushing over it right now. But sadly, it's all downhill from there. From that point, I have to admit, it introduced somewhat of an interesting plot detail here. So, this lady is introduced being beaten by her boyfriend or something, and of course you get the idea Jason Statham's gonna rescue her, and then they're gonna fall in love, and then the evil organization's gonna take her and use her as ransom to get them to kill all the 3 guys that they want dead. But a bit of a twist. The bit of the twist here is that she was planted there, right, by the guys. It's planted there specifically by the guys. This isn't a coincidence that she's there. And you know, that particular plot point has also been done to death, but they compounded even more by having it so Jason Statham immediately figures out this plot, knows what she's there for, knows that they're looking at him, knows that they're waiting for him to fall in love with her and stuff, and he discusses the whole plan with her and all that, and he's just like, "I'm not gonna kill those 3 guys. There's only one man who's gonna be dead, and it's gonna be him." And he said, "You can't get to him. He's too overpowered." And he says, "They won't even know I was there." And you know, wow, what a cool premise, right? Like, maybe he's going to be pretending to work for him, but the whole time he's planning this really cool heist to sneak on board his boat and take him out and make it look like an accident or something and make it look real cool. No, he just goes along with it. Like, literally, like, he lets her get kidnapped, right? And then he just kills the guys for him. He does everything he asks. And then at the end, instead of killing him in a cool accident way or like a stealthy ninja way, he just barges on like Rambo and just beats the shit out of everyone and drives off. So plot-wise, it's pretty much by the books again, and it's terrible. So really, all you have is these dumb action scenes to look forward to. And the really disappointing thing about that is that the whole premise of these deaths is that they have to look like an accident. So of course they have to be super complicated, and that's entertaining. Like the first one is in this this Malaysian prison, right? So he has to get himself into prison, and then he has to find a way to kill this guy who has a whole bunch of bodyguards around him in prison and stuff. But the way he kills him, it's not at all like an accident. He freaking, like, well, first of all, he beats him up, so there's going to be a bunch of bruises and stuff. Then he force feeds him a bunch of cocaine in a bowl in order to give him an overdose, and then breaks his wrists together so he's like in a position like this. And absolutely nobody would think that was an accident, but somehow that passes as one. That's fucking stupid. And in fact, the only one of his kills that does maybe resemble an accident, like if you didn't know, was this one where this rich guy who built a freaking fortress on top of an apartment, like he mentions there's like 5 feet of concrete and stuff and 6 inches of copper-plated steel or something ridiculous. Yeah, this guy who has this freaking fortress of a building there, he also has a pool where that half of it extends out beyond the building and the bottom of it is glass. What? Why would you bother building that expensive a thing and then have a freaking sheet of glass between you and your horrible crushing death? So what does he do? He breaks the glass. But why, that's fucking stupid. Why did he have that there? And the thing is, like, he didn't even need to go through all that trouble. Like, if he didn't need to make it look like an accident, he could have just shot a bullet up there and it would have killed the guy. That is, for a guy who's so paranoid, that they said, and so concerned about security, why would he ever build that onto his apartment? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But even then, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, all the posters show this, but he's climbing up the side of the building, and basically climbs underneath the pool part. But the thing is, when he's at the corner of the building and the pool part, like, he can see the bodyguards looking, and so he kind of ducks down and waits for the bodyguard to turn around, and then he climbs on the underside of the glass. Oh my god, do the people who make the mechanic movies not understand how water works? Like, if they almost saw him when he was at the corner there, they should definitely fucking see him when he's in the middle of the glass part. Like, the guy who swam in the pool should have seen him. The bodyguard should have seen him. Freaking people on the street should have seen him. He's wearing pure black. Who wouldn't have seen him? That's fucking stupid. And then he, like, puts a thing in there to make the glass crack. Because the bodyguards didn't hear him with a big fucking drill drilling in the thing that makes the glass crack. I'm not sure why he didn't just use the drill to crack the glass. I mean, it would have been just as effective. And that's the most competent death scene. The only reason people would want to watch this movie is for really creative action assassination scenes. And the creative assassination scenes aren't even that creative. They don't make sense. It's stupid. And not to mention, the people he's assassinating, the people he's working for are terrible, but the people he's assassinating are also like warlords and sex traffickers and stuff, so no moral dilemmas here, folks. Can't have that. Although, honestly, it's probably best they didn't, because at the beginning during the romance scene, the bad acting and the really bad writing start to become really obvious. So maybe it is best that they avoided any kind of, like, moral dilemmas, because I can't imagine how terribly they'd handle that. I mean, seriously, during the romance scene, she was, like, discussing her past, and it's like, so you see, I have no choice but to do this. Like, that was seriously a line. Nobody talks like that. Nobody says, so you see, I have this problem. Nobody says, so you see. Nobody! Nobody in casual conversation would ever do that. You do that on a the only time people say that is on a presentation to a board of directors. So you see, if we lower the cost of Jelly Bellies, we might be able to improve it this week's quarter. Like, nobody says, so you see, my family is dead. That's stupid. God, writing in this was awful. So awful. But I'm probably making this movie just look stupid and schlocky and fun. But no, it really is the opening scene. Aside from like all these plot holes and stuff, for the most part the movie's just boring. Like, you're just waiting for each scene to happen. As I said, maybe if they followed that cool plot line of he's not really doing what they say at all, and he's secretly planning a really cool heist on their ship, maybe that would have been awesome. But instead, it's entirely by the numbers. It's just the beginning fools you into thinking it's not. And that's just terrible. I mean, why follow the numbers during most of the movie, but not follow them at the very beginning? Now the numbers don't work. That's just math, man. Jesus, that is so dumb. So yeah, don't watch this movie, man. Go watch some sort of, I don't know, Charles Bronson film or something. Like any of them. Go watch Death Wish. That'll be fun. Don't watch this. Don't watch the first one either. These movies are terrible. Yeah. So until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching A Dire Situation.